Welcome to Off the Cut episode 126 for Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. And guys, tonight is a big night because we're doing something a little unconventional. But before we get to that, we are contractually obligated to tell you that the best place to buy woodworking tools is
kmtools.com, baby.
We need like a...
We need a sound effect. Yeah.
Sound effect board for that. But anyway, you can head over to kmtools.com and pick up a fine selection of tools that are for woodworkers by woodworkers. And like Zach always says,
if it's in their shop, it's in their shop, because every single thing on kmtools.com is either made by Jonathan and his team, or it's something that they actually use in their workshops. And if all that wasn't enough, a portion of every sale goes where, Eric, now that you're done coughing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing. I was down the wrong pipe. A portion of all their sales goes directly towards the Cats Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund, which gets the tools and resources and the folks who need it most. And the good thing is this sponsorship not only helps us and KM Tools, but it also helps you as a listener, because every single month we're giving away a $50 gift card to KM Tools. All they have to do is sign up over on patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and you're automatically entered to win. And speaking of tools, we want to give a huge shout out to our returning top tier patrons that are helping keep the lights on. We've got Joe Welsh at Delaware Valley Workshop, Goblin Spanker, Dana Mendrez, Corey Duvall, Dadu, Josh at Sawdust Builds, and listen to this. We got a new patron again 2 weeks in a row. Better than Green Suiters podcast, I'll tell you that.
Obviously.
We've got Ron Rutherford from Willow Creek Workshop. So huge shout out to Ron and all of our other patrons that are helping keep the lights on over here. They get access to the after show, and what else they get access to, Zach?
The Discord server, and obviously the aforementioned weekly or monthly drawing for the KM Tools gift card. And also we do a little live stream where we hang out with all our top tier patrons.
That was fun last week.
Yeah, it was. We opened it up last week. We had everybody come. So it was a little bit more hectic than normal, but it was a good time.
Very good time. So anyway, with all of the... Do you have something you want to say, Zach?
No. I'm saying let's get I'm done with this admin crap.
I know.
Let's introduce
gotta roll
the guest.
through it.
I thought I was being introduced when you said, speaking of tools. I knew I was going to be next.
All right. Now, with all of the admin stuff out of the way, we want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
For what? 125 episodes. We've been talking about how Instagram and short form content is useless and it's a waste of your time. Mm-hmm. Right? And we're pretty vehement on that. We would double down on that.
Yeah, we would for sure.
Challenged by one of our buddies, and he wanted to come on and talk to us tonight because he is absolutely dominating Instagram. So, welcome to the show.
Whoa. Hold on, and TikTok.
And TikTok, yeah.
Yes.
And TikTok, very true. So, welcome to the show, the weekend builder, Clayton Juarez. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. Thanks for accepting the challenge.
Yeah. So I guess the backstory on this is it was probably like 4 or 5, well, maybe even more than that. This one we scheduled a while out. Clayton texted me. He was like, "Hey, dude, I just listened to the latest episode of the podcast, and you guys are so wrong. Like, let me come on and tell you guys how much potential there is in short form content." So we're like, "All right, challenge accepted, man. Come on and give us your pitch." So without further ado, Clayton, let us know what we're missing out on.
All right. That was great. So yeah, I was listening and I remember you guys were talking about it and kind of the, there's no more real incentives when it comes to like getting paid on Meta, right? Or Instagram or Facebook's a little bit different, but like everything you were saying, like does make sense. Like, yeah, Instagram doesn't pay you. There's no Instagram partner program like YouTube has or anything, but it's just like, it's a totally different like flow because it's not coming from Meta. It's coming from brands that, will collaborate with you. So it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
But important.
No, but it's a good point. So you are now at the point, you're doing full-time content creation with, well, I know you do YouTube, but I assume the largest portion of your business is from short form content on Instagram and TikTok. Like the partnerships you make there are the biggest part of your business. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, the vast majority.
So what would be like if you had to say what percentage of content that you put out is sponsored content that you're doing with brands, and what percentage of it is just organic content that you're doing for the love of the game, kind of?
Yeah, I will. That's a very good question. I will say the percentages have changed recently. It's been a lot more branded content because I've been doing my best to make branded content like ads not feel like ads. This is the biggest difference. And we were talking about this at Workbench Con, but when it comes to YouTube, you could just have an ad read in the middle of your YouTube video. You know, like granted, the retention, you'll see it go down and everything during that. And there are ways to mitigate that. But just like you can have like a woodworking video and then an ad from BetterHelp or an ad from, whatever. And it could be totally unrelated. You absolutely cannot do that in short form. Like, because people they're just a swipe away, Yeah. So it's a totally different game to incorporate sponsors, because it's almost like you literally have to do a project around a sponsor, and it has to be relevant to what you're doing. Otherwise it just looks like a cash grab,
Totally.
And I'm not going to say you should never ever do cash grabs, because we got to put food on the table, and you are providing a ton of free content. So if you have to cash grab to put food on the table, that's fine. But it's just a totally different game. And so when it comes to that, like, it's just the challenge of making an advertisement, like a standalone good video, and that's the biggest challenge. But
yeah. So let me ask you this, because that's the thing I think I struggle with the most in terms of sponsorships on the short form side of things. Like, how do you, like, I guess, how many partnerships do you turn down? Because you're just like, I can't think of like a way to make good content out of this. Like, I assume it probably gets a little bit easier when you get to a certain level. You can be a little bit more picky and choosy than you can early on. But like, how much business do you turn away because you're like, I just can't think of a good way that I can actually integrate this?
Right. I mean, I'm sure that we all get those, like, well, I guess I get a lot of TikTok spam. Like, almost anything that says TikTok in the title, I'm just like, no, that's just, Temu has emailed me like weekly for the past like year and a half. I'm like, I don't want to be affiliated with you.
Yeah.
I would say I get between like 8 to 10 emails a day from people reaching out, or companies reaching out. Most of them are like not spam, but like most of them are just
Hello,
companies
dear.
I've never heard of. Hello, dear.
Yeah.
Yes. Most of them are either that. Yeah, I would say like maybe like, but it's there are a lot that I just are like, they're not, like I said, all of my sponsors have to be very relevant to what I do. Yeah. So if they're too far out there, I just can't. I'm like, sorry, I can't do that. But I'm only doing, I say only, but it's probably a lot compared to you guys. I do about 2 or 3 brand deals a month.
Yeah.
Because, that's just kind of the nature of it when I have not that I have no AdSense revenue, but it's just 5% of what I make. You know what I mean? So I would say
live on the YouTube AdSense
not
now.
even, yeah,
right.
Definitely not. So I would say, to kind of finish up your question, Zach, I'd say 2-3 sponsored posts a month, and then I try to do at least that many organic, videos. And I'm very much like against the whole consistency thing. I think it's just like regurgitated, like I actually just had a meeting with Meta a month or so ago about this, and there was like 10 of us on the call talking with 2 or 3 reps from Meta, and they were talking about how consistency, getting stuff out there. And it was because it's kind of like the same thing as if you listen to Mr. Beast talk about it. He's like, just, post your first, 30 videos or something, he says. And it's just because you need to get experience, you need to start. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's
Which
an
I do
aspect to
agree
that.
with. Yeah. There's definitely a good bit of truth to that. You do need to start, but you can't just keep making crap over and over again and expecting it to work, right?
Right.
That won't work.
If you post crap every day, you might grow slow, but I would say if you post one, even just one solid or mediocre Instagram video a month versus somebody who's posting literal crap every single day, you're going to grow faster.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like that saying, throw crap at the wall and see what sticks. It's like, how about we don't throw crap though? How about we throw, you know what I mean? Like we don't,
right.
Like
it's going to start as crap, but like post something, you know, make a video, make a reel, even just a static still post, and then look at it critically and go, how could I make that 1% better next time? And just constantly be pushing to make it a little better. Maybe your voiceover was trash. Maybe, you know, your shots were blurry or your camera was shaky or something like that. There's always something you can do to make it better. And that's what's going to make you grow.
That's a good point. They're going to be crap when you start, no matter what, no matter how good you are. Like, and well, there's one YouTuber I can think of that never had a crappy video. But like, I would say it's John.
Oh yeah.
His first video, I'm like, this, like, that's your first video? It was just, it was way too good. It was shockingly good. But like, yeah, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be trashed for the first, you know, 10 plus videos. But what I like, once you kind of get over that and you kind of learn your style and everything, like consistency is way less important than quality, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because like, so with Instagram, like the partnerships are everything, right? So if my partnerships are not performing, companies are not going to be reaching out to me because they look at all of that. They go on my feed and they watch. It's very easy. My videos are all like 90 seconds or less, you know, so they could watch my entire feed, like the past like few months in just like, you know, less than an hour. So they can like, they look at all those metrics before they even reach out to me. So if I'm posting sponsored content and it's not getting like the reach it should, or even just normal organic, you know, content, and it's not getting good reach, not getting good likes or engagement, then like they're not going to reach out to me. So it's, you know, so when it comes to this, it's like your content has to perform well or else you're just not going to get any more deals.
Yeah. And I think the other part of that that bothers me so much is people say you have to post every single day or you have to post consistently. Good quality content takes time. And it's really hard to do it on a set schedule. If you're compromising on quality to hit that schedule that you think you have to hit, it's going to harm your business long term, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I think, and I 100% agree. I think the caveat there is if you're in the position where you have a whole back catalog library of like, oh, here's 100 videos that performed really well. You could, in theory, constantly be creating new content. And then when you're like, oh, I don't have anything to post today, go into that Rolodex of 100 that have performed well. And you could potentially get, you know, posting something every day. But
let's ask the big shot in the room. Clayton, how often do you repost old content that you know will perform well?
Basically never, but I do think it's good. I don't know why I don't do it.
Okay.
But I do. I have friends that swear by it, you know, and I probably will in the future. But like, there has to be a good amount of time in between. I feel like, you know, it's not Facebook where you can spam the same video over and over and it just doesn't.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude, Facebook is amazing. You can literally, like, this is what Boog has been doing for my Facebook account. They've found a few, they have like, I don't know, whatever it is, 10 or 20 videos that work well, and they just spam them all day long, and then they still perform. You don't get the same pop that you get with the initial one, but they still perform pretty well.
I mean, I was going to the bathroom earlier, and I pulled up Facebook just checking out my page and stuff, and I saw one of Zach's videos that was 40 minutes old and had 400,000 views on it. I was like, what? What
It
is
doesn't make any
this?
sense. It doesn't make any sense.
like,
There's
all
no
right.
rhyme or reason to it.
I was talking to Brad Rodriguez last week, and he was calling it. He calls it when a video is in syndication on Facebook, where you're basically just reusing it and reusing it.
Oh.
So
you don't do that currently on Instagram, Clayton?
I don't.
What about TikTok?
I'd be much more. I do not care about my TikTok account at all. I just
anybody does.
TikTok.
Join the club.
why does every
TikTok is
creator
my-
have like such malice towards TikTok? Don't get me wrong, I'm the same way, but it's just like every creator you're talking to, like, I don't care about my TikTok at all.
Yeah.
Garbage
Well,
can.
okay. When I say I don't care, I mean I don't care about like my feed. You know what I mean? Like I'll work.
Sure.
Like I worked with Circle. You know, the water bottle flavoring company where it helps you drink more water because it flavors the water as it comes out. Like I worked with Circle. I'm on TikTok. I'll take brand deals that just don't make sense because, like, for me to post on Instagram, because that, like, in my opinion, like that's where I have like my community. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
TikTok. It doesn't even matter if someone hits the follow button on you. It's like they're still not going to see your content unless it does well.
Yeah, that's
Like-
true. That's true.
So like TikTok, I'll just take deals just because like I just don't care about my TikTok. But the reason I hate it is because TikTok's very volatile, and like it goes in like quarters. Like there's one quarter where my views are like off the charts, and I'll do super well, and then the next it goes from like 400,000 millions of views, and then all of a sudden it's like 1,800 views. 1,000 views, like to that. It's insane. And I feel like it's all dependent on what TikTok wants to push, because like TikTok's like, oh, we want to push long form content where you turn your phone sideways. And then when they did that, like all of
they
like
do that now?
they did. Yeah, they do that. And there was a big push for it. Yeah. Late last year or earlier this year, there's a big push for it.
I've literally never, and I use TikTok on a regular basis, I'd say. I've never once seen a video that asked me to turn my phone sideways.
Every time, I think it's because people hated it. So they pushed it, and then people hated it, and then they backed off.
I wonder if it was one of those tiered rollouts where they rolled it out in the US, because I'm in Canada, so I often don't get a lot of features. So maybe they only rolled it out in certain regions.
Yeah, that totally might be it. Yeah. And after that, then they got super into TikTok Shop. And so now, like, if you post a TikTok Shop video, it does way better than an organic. And it's just whatever they want to do well. So that's why TikTok's annoying. And I just don't really care about my image on TikTok like I do.
So,
go ahead, Zach. No, you go.
No, you go.
Okay, I'll go. But I'm not going to throw anyone specifically because I don't want, if people are like, oh, I don't want people to know this. I've talked to a lot of people, that we're all friends with. And just about everyone has the exact same summary of TikTok. They're like, oh, I don't care about the audience. Like, I just post whatever. And like, I'll take a brand deal that means nothing just because you get a little bit of money and it's like zero lift. But they're like, but Instagram or YouTube, that's where I really care about what I'm putting out. And same thing, like Facebook and TikTok seem to be category as far as like just putting out anything.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Totally agree.
Like, why do those platforms get less respect? I think is maybe a way to think of it, right?
I think that TikTok just lost the respect because they're so volatile and they're so like their algorithm is just so whack. And Facebook, it might just be the audience, the demographic of the Facebook users. They just don't really follow creators or influencers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're just on it to watch an entertaining video. They're just scrolling
or check the news or something.
Yeah,
I think Facebook had a period in time where they just completely destroyed their reputation. Because you all, when Facebook first came out, it was huge. Everybody was on it. That was the main social media. Mm-hmm. And then at a certain point, they made some changes, and everybody just left the platform. And it was, at least from my point of view, it was a dormant platform for a long time. And the only reason the creators are starting to come back to it now is because there's actually money to be made there natively on it without using partnerships. But because none of us actually use that platform, nobody has any respect for it.
Yeah. I think it was the great parental migration of 2012. Whenever all of our parents and everything started getting on Facebook, that's whenever all the young people left and the platform just went to crap.
Did you guys ever go on it when you had to have a .edu or a college email in order to sign up?
No.
Do you know what year that was?
Like 2007,
2006.
2006, something like that.
2008, they opened it up to everybody.
They opened it up to, so it started with university students, and then they opened it up to high school kids, and that's
I got it in high school.
Yeah,
I got it like going into freshman year of high school, I believe. And try to rewind back. Do you guys recall if when Facebook first, like when you first got access to Facebook, were there ads on it, or was it all strictly social media?
There was some ads, but they were, as I remember, they were unobtrusive banner ads and stuff like that on the side of the page. They weren't in feed
and only
ever.
Desktop.
Yes, I was just going to say that because I remember
true.
My stepfather was complaining about all the ads because they were super not like appropriate, you know? Right. And I'm like, I don't have any ads. And it's because I was, on my phone, iPod Touch at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Take me back.
Oh man, those were the days. So Deric, you said like the great parental migration of 2012. Do you think there also happened to be a correlation between the time that parents moved over there and the time that they really started hammering out ads and like paid promotion as far as, like brands trying to really, really use it as a marketing ploy? Think there's any connection there?
Ads for sure. I don't know about paid promotion stuff because I wasn't into any of that back then.
Yeah.
Ads definitely started ramping up in the mid 2010s, I would say, for sure.
Okay. So then when was the resurgence of people coming back to Facebook? The first time I really remember it was like right when I was getting started in the whole social media game, which is like late 2019, early 2020, when you kind of started hearing people of like, hey, you ought to start posting like 3-4 minute long videos on Facebook. I'm getting paid some good money for this stuff. Is that kind of like when you guys started really hearing about it?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, it probably would have been.
Huh.
Yeah, because when I first started my Instagram page, I also spun up a Facebook page, and for a long time I would cross post between the two, but I never really ever paid any attention to it. It was just kind of like this, like, if I had a Instagram page with 70,000 followers, I also had this Facebook page where I had 10,000 followers. And I'd be like, okay, brand that I'm potentially going to partner with, give me an extra $200 and I'll also post this ad to Facebook. That was pretty much my entire reason for having a Facebook page.
Huh. So Clayton, do you see a lot of value right now for someone to really hammer home and like try to grow your Facebook page? Or I guess maybe a better question is, say I want to grow my Facebook page. Do you do like the cross post thing where you fire up Instagram, you throw up your video and it says, do you want to post to Facebook? Do you ever do that, or do you organically post to Facebook?
I organically do. I'm just afraid of penalties, like for no good reason, but sometimes they just happen. Like that button, I feel like it then knows that it's like the same video. You know what I mean?
I know.
I have no good reason why I don't, but I don't.
It's a feeling.
Do you schedule them?
Yeah. I don't schedule them because a lot of my posts, or I guess on Instagram at least, are sponsored, and you can't schedule a sponsored post that I'm aware of. The tool, I haven't found an option in the tool. No. Plus, I'm afraid it would mess it up because it has before. And when it does, it's the absolute worst when it posts it wrong. Like sometimes, like when I've scheduled posts in the past, it posts and the audio is like a second off. And that doesn't work. I don't know why, but I've just had a bad experience with the cross posting and the scheduling tools. And I only ever post organically. But like, to your other question though, Eric, talking about like growing and putting effort into Facebook or into, I would say, TikTok, right? These alternative
Sure.
Not Instagram or not YouTube platforms that we're talking about that people don't really care about. Absolutely, it's worth it. Like I spent like all of WorkbenchCon every time I saw Chris Duncan, at Dunkwoods. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram. He's just on Instagram. I'm like, dude, you got to get on TikTok. You got to start posting there, because if anything, it's an add-on or it's a way to like get my rates. So like if a company reaches out to me and I give them my rates and they're like, oh, sorry, we can't do your rates, but we can do this amount. And it's like, say like 70% what my rates are. Then I can come back and say, hey, I'll include cross-posting to TikTok and Facebook or one or the other. And then oftentimes they'll come back and say, okay, we'll pay your rates. You know what I mean? So it's another bargaining chip that allows me to get my rates.
It's effectively an upsell that requires zero effort from you.
Yeah. It's amazing. So absolutely, you should post there, especially if you're making an Instagram reel. Like, just post it. Just copy the description. It's kind of a pain if you're doing all the captions and everything, which they kind of come in and out of trends, but just repost it. But I don't post YouTube Shorts anymore because of Brad's talk.
Yeah, dude.
So can I ask you then?
I do not touch YouTube Shorts.
Do you ever tailor content to the platform, or do you strictly say like it's a vertical video, therefore it is good for all platforms? I guess not the aforementioned YouTube Shorts, but
I tailor them all to Instagram.
Okay, so Instagram is primary, and then everything else is just like gravy on top.
Yeah. I don't even know why like videos perform well or not on TikTok or Facebook. Because there's just no rhyme or reason, and you'll see one metric do well in a video, and then like the video does super well. So you replicate that metric, and then it flops, and it's like, I don't get it. It had the same percentage of watch time, or what I mean? Like, so I always tailor it to Instagram. And then
when you say tailor to Instagram, what does that mean?
That's a good question.
It is everything down. Okay. So I have a YouTube editor. It's the same one as Zach.
Bryson.
Bryson. He's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. I actually found him because I was listening to the podcast, I don't know, a year and a half ago when you guys were talking about it. Right. And then you were like, oh, I have a YouTube editor. And so I just reached out to him. He's like, oh yeah, I have availability. And he's been great ever since. But what I'll say, I lost my train of thought. I'm so ADHD. I got it. When it comes to, you're asking about like, tailoring it to Instagram. Yeah. Editing is a huge thing. So I have a YouTube editor, but I don't know how I could ever hire an editor for Instagram. It is so in depth. There's so much to it. I will spend hours and hours editing an Instagram reel.
It shows. They look great.
I appreciate that. It's like, and I do it all on my desktop in Premiere Pro.
Okay, you're not a psychopath on their phone.
A lot of my friends do it on their phone, and it's a lot. It just takes more time,
Yeah.
And the reason, it's a privilege for me because I started in YouTube. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for about 4 years. I started like right at COVID, and I was just kind of a YouTuber. And then about like a year and a half ago is when like I started finding out that my Instagram following was actually worth something. And so then I started really chasing that and putting all my effort into that. And then like I found out, whoa, I'm way better at this. Like I'm way better at short form content. And so that's why I just kind of dove in, and it's been working out super well. But like it's everything from like I don't have a shot longer than 2 seconds on my videos. Like it's very rare that I have one, and if so, it's like 3 seconds, and it's a time lapse. So it's and then if it's that much, I'll start panning in or panning out or zooming or whatever because there has to be motion. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've totally left how-tos. Like I'm no longer a how-toer. Like I'm not teaching people how to do stuff. I am telling a story about how things happen as I'm doing this project. And it doesn't, because you learn how to, you know what I mean? Like I just did a video how I installed my flooring, and I was like, going over it, but it was more of a story. And they still get the same information. They still learn how to do it, but it doesn't just catch those people that are looking for how to do it. It also catches the people in just a good story. And like, So that is like the biggest way that I tailor my content to Instagram is I found what my followers like. I found what performs well, and that's what I focus on.
So walk me through, you're going to create a video. What's kind of the structure? Do you start with some sort of hook and then you have do you have like a typical story structure that you like to use? Do you have a general format? Yeah.
Right. Nothing written. But I found that when I try to write it, it's not that great. Like,
interesting.
It has to be like natural. And there are times where like I have spent weeks editing one reel. Yeah. Like when I built my fence, I built that in like early May. I didn't post the videos for like 3 weeks and that was a sponsored post. I just kept reaching back out. That was with Superior Outdoor Products. And I was like, hey, I don't have it yet. I'm still working on it. And it was like 3 reels, and it took me like a few weeks to edit them because I would edit and be like, that's not it. And I'd just walk away. I'd come back another day. That's not it. And I'd walk away. And literally and then finally I was like, that's it. And then I posted them, and like 2 out of the 3 were in the millions of views on both Instagram and TikTok. And it's just like, it was great. They were ecstatic. Like it was just a really, really good partnership, but it's just like, I don't really have a rhyme or reason. It's more of a feel, which is a terrible answer. Yeah. But
it's truthful though.
The hook is extremely important. And then just telling a story and being authentic, like, in the most cheesy way possible. Like saying that is kind of cheesy, but like just be yourself. I hate regurgitated content. It drives me crazy when people become influencers and then they just look at what other influencers are doing and copy that. I'm like, no, do something totally different. Like, did you see my Harry's post? I was talking to somebody about this at Workbench Con. Harry's reached out to me and they were like, and this is not a company that's like in my lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is like a prime example of one that I was initially like, sorry, like, no, I'm good. But it was one that my manager brought to me. And then I thought about it more and I was like, okay, you know what? Because I read the brief and Harry's was like, we want you to go into Target and show the shopping experience and where they can get it.
Or like, that's not me.
Absolutely not. So I responded and I was like, okay, Kristen, here's how this is going to happen. If Harry's wants to work with me, like I do not have like the emotional capacity to film myself in Target. I can't do that. I don't know if I ever can.
Yeah.
No, not doing it. I was like, if Harry's wants to work with me, they're going to have to trust me and I'm going to do something very creative and it's going to be like very, very different. And then Harry's was like, give it to us. Like, we'll take it. And so I did like how woodworkers get ready. And it was just like a compilation of like stupid variants of like normal things you would do, like brushing your teeth. I used wood glue instead of toothpaste, or like wiping. I pulled off and tore out a piece of sandpaper. I replaced it with a roll of sandpaper. And it's just like, oh, cringe. And then I got out my long utility knife, the one that you can snap off the blades like 4 long, and I brought it to my throat to shave, and then I like realized it was a bad idea, and then I pulled out the Harry's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's clever. Yeah. That's super clever.
It was fun, and it was genuinely fun. So it's an ad, but it's a standalone video. Like it's just a funny video, like that is it's clever, it's funny, it's relatable, it's cringe, it's it kind of hits all those boxes. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, my manager, she was like, hey, Clayton, I just want you to know that one of my other clients just got reached out to by Harry's. They're doing a deal with them, and they sent over the brief, and all of the examples in the brief of what they want influencers to do have been replaced by yours. They loved it so much. That was one of the few like partnerships that I sent it to them, and they were like, no changes, post it. We love it.
Nice. Yeah.
So like, just being like, be authentic, like be stupid even. I try to be stupid. I try to let my stupid show,
Yeah. Sure. Like be silly, be something that people can just look at it and just like chuckle, get a little laugh. And then afterwards they're like, oh, this is an ad, but like, yeah, it's so funny. I'm still going to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the best compliment I ever got was someone was talking to my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law told me this story. She was like, she was on a walk with one of her friends. And I'm sure you guys get this all the time, but she asked my mother-in-law, like, I just don't get how he makes money. You know what I mean? Like that's no one understands it.
Yeah.
But then she goes, I mean, I just never see any ads in his videos. And I was like, that's what I want, like, it's like, I want it to feel seamless. Like, it's not pushed. It's just like, a project story using a product
placement.
Yeah.
So,
and I love when brands let me.
So, yeah. This is all well and good when you get a decent size following and you can command that kind of stuff, right? Like, let's be honest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, is it about the following or is it about the reach?
It depends. Like, companies are getting better about that. They used to care more about follower count, but now they're like, I have a friend that has half as many followers as me, but his engagement is so good. He, his deals are just as lucrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're worth just as much just because he has such a dedicated community. So I think it is reach, and brands are finally starting to realize that. But
yeah. So, like I said, it's all well and good when you get a decent size following or you're getting tons of reach. But what do you do? Let's say I'm going to start an Instagram page tomorrow, and my goal is to take that Instagram page and quickly, you can, whatever you want to consider quickly, turn that into my full-time gig. Do you have any suggestions?
Oh,
I know this is tough.
Very tough. It's kind of like when I started focusing Instagram and I like kind of blew up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone came to me like, oh my gosh, you just like overnight, you just are doing this all of a sudden. Like, how did you do that? And it's like, yeah, it was like a 3-year overnight success. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's
same
like
with us on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was a 3-year overnight success. I would say is because I was in the ringers of YouTube for years, learning how to video edit, which is why what makes me unique. I'm one of the very few creators that edits short form content, vertical content on desktop, because that was my roots. You know what I mean? And
Deric,
but it also really helps. Oh, you do?
I do. Yeah.
Because you started YouTube, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's not a psychopath.
Because he's not a psychopath. Yeah. I do edit stories on my phone, but I got the Max. The bigger phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes it easier. So you would say, first, it's all like you have to learn how, like literally the nuts and bolts of how to edit video.
Learn the basics.
You have to learn that, however long that's going to take you.
Sorry, I totally forgot the question. Right. So I got it now. Yeah. First thing, because I again, this is another thing I'm sure we all get asked is like people that want to be creators, how can they start a YouTube channel and be successful? And I tell everyone the same thing. And I tell them, like, if your goal is to make money, you're going to fail. Like,
oh, yeah.
It is the absolute worst entrepreneurship venture you can make. It has to be a passion project for years. You're going to spend like 20 plus hours a week for years. It took me like 18 months to get into the partner program for YouTube. And after that, it was making me like $100 to $400 a month. You know what I mean?
That's which is I was.
It was great when it's like before I had any aspirations with it, when it was like, oh, I want to buy all of the tools, but I don't want to justify the purchases to my wife. And so it's like, well, what if I, what if I really push on YouTube and then you want a new table saw? Wait a few months and you can buy one,
right.
Hobby money. It was great. But yeah, then I was like, oh, this is work. So, first is just like, you have to enjoy it. You have to do it for free. You have to love it. And that's just something that like we all probably have is like, we just liked making videos.
Yeah.
And then like, here's the thing. Instagram, the follow button Instagram is trying to emulate TikTok, I think, based off what I've seen and based off what they've been telling me. And they haven't like said it, but they've been saying like, oh, we're trying to focus on like engagement metrics. It's kind of like, do you remember in like 2014 when maybe it was later than that, YouTube, like the homepage was no longer like the subscriptions page. It was like the recommended, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they were trying to, get you to just see other videos rather than the people you just subscribe to and stay in that. And everyone's views tanked. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instagram is going through that right now. Just the past like year or two, they've been going through that where the follow button is just meaning less and less and less. And like I could post a video, and even though I'm at almost 400,000 followers, it can get 30,000 views, like, which for me is like, I'm upset. Like, I'm like, dang it. Okay, what did I do wrong? Like, that's bad. And so like, I think it has to be a standalone good video. And I don't think you need a large following to get views. Like, as long as like a few thousand people, maybe even less, like see your video, Instagram has had enough data to determine if it's a good video, and it will just show it to more,
right.
Then it'll grow. I don't think that follow count really, like, obviously when you're only getting like a few hundred views per video, if that, like, that's going to be hard, but it will happen where you get that one video that gets more. And if it's good, it'll take off. It doesn't matter how many followers you have.
So I think while you were talking, I think it's interesting. It was making me think of kind of when my stuff started going, like at the time, I post like my first, my second, my third YouTube video, and I'm thinking, these are fire. These are good. But if I genuinely go back and like really, really critically look at everything that I was posting, I can very quickly tell you when I'm like, that's a pretty good video. And when that switch kind of turn is magically when my channel started doing well too. Like, it truly is you taking a critical look at stuff and like, are you putting out just hot garbage, or is it like that and interesting and entertaining, a funny, a really inspirational, or like some sort of video that actually has value to folks, right?
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because YouTube, like, my problem is different. My problem is not that I can't make a good video, because I'll watch my videos, like all of the comments are like, whoa, how come you only have 30K subs? Like, how are you not bigger than this? Like, and it's because I can make a good video. I just can't make a good thumbnail and title. I'm like, I'm like that. If you can't get people to watch your video, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
If no one sees it, and I just suck at making those.
Dude, I'll have a video come out and I will spend a week brainstorming tons of different titles, coming up with all these different thumbnails, matching up combinations, researching other videos that are similar and see what kind of titles and thumbnails people use for that. Like, I sometimes will spend almost as much time making the video as I do coming up with a title and a thumbnail. And it's frustrating, but it truly is the game. And I understand it, because if you're on YouTube, I'm only going to click on something that has an interesting package on it. You're going to go, I got to click on this, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. It is a game, but it's the same game as short form content, right? You have to find something, a real snappy hook or something that grabs people's attention immediately so they don't just scroll away.
It kind of moves it, right? Because when you see a video on Instagram, it decides what you're going to watch next, right? So you swipe up and it just starts playing. So all that emphasis that you put on like the first 3 seconds, that hook of the video, is on YouTube. You had to take all that energy that you would spend thinking about that, and then you had to spend that thinking about the title and the thumbnail. And then also, I mean, the first 30 seconds, we know the first 30 seconds of the video is also super important too, because that's when people usually decide if they want to click
30 to 40% in the first 15 to 20 seconds.
That's an entire Instagram reel, that amount of time.
Right.
Totally, yeah.
But just hearing you guys talk about that just helps me realize why I'm made for short form content. And like, cause the whole thumbnail thing doesn't exist. You're just saying like Instagram decides what reel you see next.
Yeah.
I don't have to try to get them to click, so, and it lets me do what I'm good at, which is video and hooking people.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You say you're not good at the title and thumbnails. That tells me that the if you're posting on Instagram, maybe you shouldn't be putting so much effort into your caption or your description of your video, rather.
Oh, dude, I don't even write them. My agent writes them.
Yeah.
It's usually just whatever the brand wants. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
no one really reads
little
it.
Impact. Yeah.
Yeah, very little impact, the description.
Well, especially on a reel. Maybe on like a picture post or whatever, maybe people might read it a little bit, but
even
like...
Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in my call with Meta, even they were like someone asked like about hashtags, and they're like, "Yeah, you should." That was literally their answer, and I'm like, "Okay, hashtags are kind of irrelevant now."
Yeah, Well, it's the same as YouTube tags. It even says literally directly on the platform, like tag. Let's say something. I'll pull it up. I'm gonna read it. Go ahead, though, Zach.
I can't remember what I was going to say now.
But just the thing is, like with Instagram, with hashtags and those tags and everything, like they have a transcript of they know every single word you said.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're machine learning, analyzing the frames to see like what's in the frame. Oh, there's a person. Oh, there's some wood. They're probably building something. What I was going to say is, I think at best, hashtags are a way that help Meta categorize videos. Put them in different buckets so that they can maybe say, okay, this person likes woodworking videos. This is a woodworking video. We can maybe match them up together. But even then, I think it's only like a rough guess at best, or like,
But also, if they have the captions, they know what the video's about. Like if they know what you're talking about, they know it's about woodworking. So it doesn't really matter if you write hashtag woodworking fun or whatever.
Great point. Yeah.
It just seems spammy now, I think.
Yeah. Well, I still see people doing 30 hashtags below.
Well, we gotta do 29, man, because they only let you do 30, so you should do one less.
One less, yeah.
So on YouTube, this is directly from YouTube. This is not a TubeBuddy or anything else. It literally says tags. Tags can be useful if content in your video is commonly misspelled. Otherwise, tags play a minimal role in helping viewers find your videos. In other words, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
They went out of their way to tell you it has minimal impact.
Right.
It has no impact.
Right.
It's weird that I wonder why they even still have the tags if they're basically going to tell you right on the page, don't use them.
It's probably something they rolled out and
back
they can't take it away completely because there are tags on videos.
Yeah, maybe people freak out. Yeah.
Clayton, give me your impression or thoughts on and I don't even know if they still have it on Instagram, where they have like this like topic thing where you can pick from like 30 topics to tag in your. Do you have that, or have you seen that?
Oh yeah, you can pick 3.
I don't know about it. Is this new? Or is this
it's always been on there.
6-8 months,
maybe like 18 months, something like that.
Long.
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been
somewhere
on
in
for a
that
while.
kind of range.
I don't even know what it is.
Hold on, let me see.
Don't even know what it is.
So
is it when you're posting
irrelevant.
a video?
Yeah. Posting reel.
They might have got rid of it. I feel like I haven't seen it in a while. Is it still there? Okay, all right.
Because the only one that was moderately relevant to us was like DIY/gardening. Was like the only one that we could.
It was like construction /gardening or something like that.
Select up to 3 topics to help match your reel with viewers. Yep. Never opened this tab a single time.
Okay. So everybody listening at home, do not use that feature, because if Clayton's not using it, you definitely don't need it to get views.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just no opinion on it. I haven't used it. Interesting. So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's tags, It's
it's just like a different type of hashtag almost.
Basically.
So we've gotten the one. You need to enjoy what you're doing. Mm-hmm. 2, do not go into this expecting or with the thought of I'm going to make money from the get-go, because it's going to take time. 3, you have to make quality, entertaining video. 4, we don't really think consistency is that super relevant. Like, I'd rather you post one video a week that's good as opposed to one decent video every single day. Any other
100%.
Things that you would say, I'm just starting an Instagram or a short form video account that you would want to hammer in on?
time of day?
I would say don't get caught up in trends. I feel like people, especially companies, like their social media departments, they think that trends are everything. Trending sounds, trending whatever. I don't use sounds. I don't even use music. I just do VO. I just spend a lot of time not perfecting, but like I have worked on my VO a lot. And if you will watch any of my recent videos, there's no music. It's just VO.
Okay.
And no one complains, no one notices. It's original audio. I personally am a big proponent of original audio. And that's not to say I don't ever use music. I do occasionally. Like I posted a funny one about ranchero music when I was flooring. And it was like I was flooring and it was like I played the ranchero music. I started going faster and then it turned off and I was like going normal speed. I thought about it and I clicked it again and I started going super fast again. It was super fun.
Speaking of ranchero music.
So how does it work when you do a short form video? Let's say you're redoing a gate or a fence, or you're redoing the flooring or redoing a laundry room or something like that. Do you take that entire project and make one reel out of it? Or are you like, okay, I'm doing this backyard project. I'm going to make 19 reels.
That's a really good question. I'm different. And this is, be different. You know what I mean? A lot of people, a lot of my friends, and this is their way of doing it. I do it differently. They'll just do like day 1, day 2, day 3. People hate that. I think people hate like, just give it to me all at once. There is something to be said about that. And I don't necessarily agree with either of them. So what I do is, since I'm kind of a jack of all trades, I break it up by trade. So when I finished my basement, I wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to finish my basement and post a video about it. Part 1 was framing. Part 2 was electrical. Part 3 insulation, soundproofing, drywall, painting, flooring, hanging doors, like all of that, right? And what that does is it makes each video like a standalone video. Like if you're on part 7 and it's just what you're doing, like it's just you continue where you left off. If somebody just gets that video in their feed and they haven't seen the previous ones, there's no context.
Yeah.
And they'll swipe.
Like, what the hell did he do with his basement? Why doesn't he have walls up?
Yeah,
exactly. So I tried, like, my goal is to make every single video a standalone video in itself.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. That's what it ends up being a lot fewer videos per series. But like I said, I value quality, far more than quantity.
Yeah.
So that I do have a very unique take on that. But I'm actually very certain that is like based off of my, using that strategy. I'm very certain that that's a good way to do it. Like just make the video stand on its own.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all appreciate that when you're doing a big project, it's almost entirely composed of smaller projects. So you're going to renovate your basement. Like you said, like doing the floor is a project unto itself and potentially worthy of, you can tell a whole story within doing the floor. And then all of a sudden you have this big overarching project, but you have like 5 sub-projects that you can whack out a video for each one, essentially. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it also makes sponsorships easier for Instagram. Because when it's just, day by day, it's not really broken up. But when you're going, okay, I'm finishing my basement, doing framing, electrical, yada, yada, yada. I was like, okay, flooring, that's somebody I could partner with. And so I got a partner for flooring. I worked with, at the time, that was Deric last year I worked with. So and then Deric sponsored that video because it was entirely on flooring. I didn't cross over. And then another one when I was framing, it was sponsored by Zenith, by Danco, because they have these trim pullers and these demo tools, and I had to take a wall down that I had built. So it's hard to incorporate sponsors. So doing it this way helps me incorporate sponsors more seamlessly.
Interesting. So do you do a lot of outreach trying to get I'm going to do a flooring project. I need to start reaching out to flooring companies?
I do some. But usually like now, like it's only when I'm doing a large project like that and I know I'm going to that I might. And I either have contacts from people I've worked with in the past, or I'm like, oh, Kyle, my friend worked with this company. I'll ask him for a contact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like occasionally, like right now, my lawnmower, pooped out on me, and I've been push mowing my yard, which is like, it takes me like 2 or 3 hours because I have like 2 acres, and of that I mow like 1 acre of grass. It takes a long time to push mow that much. Yeah, and so like right now I'm like, I need a mower so bad, and I don't want to spend like $6,000 on a new zero turn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and get a partnership for that. Like that's
totally.
And the biggest example was the fence in my backyard, and that was one where I'm like, I'm not trying to get paid because this fence. I fenced in a 1/4 acre. Like
it's not cheap if you go out and buy all that fence. At that point, you're probably like, hey, if you just offer the supplies, we'll call it even.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I did like multiple videos for them. I did a YouTube video, which flopped because I suck at thumbnails, but the short form content performed so well that, they didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, it's kind of like what you're saying before, like some of the ancillary platforms, the TikTok, the YouTube, that can almost be like a kicker or a bonus for the brand, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what is your typical, say you're reaching out for a zero turn mower, or you're pitching yourself to a brand. I know you have an agent as well as we do. How would you typically pitch yourself to a brand, or like propose them paying you when they've never even reached out to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do it.
I never feel confident doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just don't really do much outreach. Maybe that's a very like privileged thing to say, but I just go off what's in my inbox. And I actually am about to sign a really big deal with like a really good deal through the rest of the year, and I'm almost kind of booked now, like for the whole year.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man!
I really hope it goes through, because if so, I would be getting my hands on a Ford Lightning. So I hope that it would be super fun. So I really hope that happens. But it's hopeful, but no. But yeah, it's kind of to the point where I'm like, well, if that happens, it's like that is like a video every single month, already. Right. And then I already have a few more planned for the fall. And so I'm like, I don't even really have any more.
See, now you can get into kind of what sometimes we talk about is the go away price. If somebody asks you to do something, so you can be like, yeah, I'll do that for 3x my normal rate.
I saw Suman's comment about that. Like an FU price.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have an FU price.
Yeah.
Zach, your mic got unplugged. Or something.
Yeah, I just let my agent handle my FU price.
Right.
Sometimes it shocks me. I'm like, oh, so wow, you're pitching that? I'm like, okay. And then sometimes they say yes, and I'm like, what?
Okay.
How did
honey, cancel dinner night? I gotta film a video. I've definitely run into that too. Are you back, Zach?
I don't know. Am I?
Nope.
No.
Your audio isn't.
God damn.
Did your mic come unplugged or whatever? Whatever. Well,
maybe
this is probably
battery ran out.
This is probably the perfect time to wrap up the main show.
I got it.
There. Oh, you got it?
The mic fell off my clip.
Oh.
I like clip it to my shirt collar. It must have just got like yanked out.
Oh. Well, now you look like one of those guys with little teeny tiny mics.
Yeah. I know, it's kind of fun. I have one last question that I want to ask Clayton before we break for the after show.
Right on.
This week, I was really obsessed with this new analytical tool that I got. I was texting Eric about it. I was texting Scott about it. What kind of analytical tools? Are there any cool analytical tools for short form content that you really like to use?
No.
Good one.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, are you talking about like TubeBuddy or that type of tools?
Exactly.
There are some, and I've tried them. They're mainly for reporting because, Like it's hard to kind of report on your metrics. It's Instagram as far as I know, they don't really let you like export metrics very well.
Screenshot.
Yeah, screenshots. And my manager takes care of that for me, which is amazing. Like any annoying thing, I let her take care of, and it's amazing. I don't have to do that anymore. But like, yeah, there's really I actually hate it. I miss, like, not miss because I still have it, but like YouTube is so transparent about all your analytics. And Instagram, I don't know why, but they like play with you. They're like, oh, like there was this feature like that told you how many followers you got from a video. We got it and it was super helpful, but then they took it away. And then there was this retention graph like YouTube has, where it showed you how, not just like how long they watched, but it, it had the graph, and then they took it away. And it's just like, why are you taking things away? Like, is it, it just makes me feel like it's a control thing. Like they're just trying to control the information we have. I don't know.
Well, and then the really interesting thing is that on the flip side, over on Facebook, they give you the ability to launch variations of the same video.
Yeah.
So you can have like the same video, like, okay, here's one with a voiceover, here's one with background music, here's one with a different caption. And you can see like how they perform differently, which that would be hugely helpful to somebody on Instagram, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's same company, like similar-ish platform.
Sounds kind of like A/B testing, but with videos, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
What you can do up to the 3 or is it 4 variations, Zach?
I think it's 4 variations.
I low-key hope they don't, just because that means that I would have to use it. And that sounds like a lot more work.
No, you know what? Okay, so it is more work, but it's very interesting. Like, so I was using this tool. I was telling, it's not TubeBuddy. It's called thumbnailtest.com.
You're blowing our entire next week's episode, Zach.
I know. I'm gonna spoil it, but you can do as many variations as you want in a video. So I was going through some of my old catalog, and I was like, okay, let me just like play with titles for a bit. And I was like I was testing, like I built the ultimate N64 versus I built a modern Nintendo 64, like seeing which of those ones perform better. And then I was like, maybe I should put Nintendo 64, or should I do N64? And I tested that. And like all just variations on phrasing to like, and I could see like, okay, modern gives me a 0.5% boost in my click-through rate compared to ultimate.
Huh.
And it was like, once you wrap your head around it, it's actually, I found it very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Clayton, if you did that on short form content, you'd be like, do I need to change the caption? What about if you'd eat yourself alive on those videos, wouldn't you?
But wouldn't that be fun if you could see 2 different retention graphs? Like, okay, here's one video with a voiceover, and then here's another video, same video with voiceover, and then the captions burned into the video on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to entertain the thought, but it's just not going to happen because Instagram is like... Simon always says the like funniest on point comments. It's an abusive relationship. Like they have all the control, their algorithm is they have all the control and they play with it. I feel like YouTube doesn't like mess with their algorithm a ton, but Instagram is like always changing it. And I think that's why they're kind of picky and choosy about what analytics you get, because if you get too many, and they're changing it all the time, then you're going to be able to see what they're changing based off of your analytics.
And then play the system. Like, my retention or my whatever retention on this video is really high. I get a bajillion views. Oh, all I have to do is do that. Oh, my retention is really high and I didn't get any views. Okay, so it doesn't look like retention matters anymore. Like you'd be able to see all the different fine tuning settings that it's going on behind the scenes.
But what would they care? They just want you on the platform.
Well, they should want you to make the best video possible.
That's what I don't know. Right? I don't get it. I agree. I don't get it. Yeah.
But like when Reels started like really bumping people up, I had a conspiracy theory that their entire game was to get just about everyone who was consistently posting Reels to get 10, 20, 30, 50,000 followers. And then once you have like one or two videos that would pop off really well, and then they're like, all right, he's done. We got him addicted.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
I do often wonder how often. Obviously, Instagram is an app that's designed to keep people on the platform, keep people scrolling for as long as possible. Yeah. How much of that kind of game theory that they apply to viewers do they also apply to creators? Are they gaming us just as much as they're gaming
They say they're not.
Yeah.
And I asked them that, and they say that they're not, but I'm sure that they are.
I don't believe it. But I mean, think about the experience on Instagram under your creator account. Clayton, do you have a like your business creator account? Did you also have a personal account that you just follow, like sports or like whatever, bands, just random stuff like that?
That's TikTok. I use my personal TikTok, and if you go on that, it's like no building. If I see something building, I'm so sick of building. You know, that I just like I'm not interested. And it's just like golf and food.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
well, have you noticed on a creator account, like if I'm on my own, if I'm on my if I'm on my Spenceley Design Co. Instagram account, I can swipe and scroll and stuff. I rarely, if ever, see an ad, but I go on my personal Instagram account and it'll be like post ad, post ad, post ad. And what I mean by ad is like, I don't know, Tide laundry detergent is like just has a straight video from Tide. It's not like
not a sponsored post.
It's not Deric is doing a post in the sponsored post for Tide. It's like literally just a Tide video. And same with if you go on stories on my personal account. I didn't even know there were ads in stories until I went over to my personal account. Like it's
how often
totally
do you use
different experience. Account? How often do I use it?
Versus the other one,
I don't know. I get on it maybe twice a week.
But I mean,
like
is
5
it like
minutes.
a 60-40?
I'm like twice a year.
My friend. I don't know. I mean, I would say I'm on my business Instagram account every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through my.
I get ads.
Okay.
Really?
I'm scrolling through mine right now. I have yet to see an ad. I'm like 20, maybe 25 posts deep.
This is what I'm talking about, man. But Clayton, you get ads all the time.
Not that I get ads all the time. It's that I literally go on my personal account like once or twice a year. It's so bad that I saw a childhood friend of mine that I haven't seen in a few years. And she mentioned her husband. And I was like, I am the worst friend ever. I did not know that you got married. And that's how often I go on my personal account, you know? So I'm a bad case study for this.
My second reel is an ad when I pulled up Instagram.
On your creator account?
Okay, hold on.
Are you designated a creator account?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me scroll through.
All right, I gotta do this live real quick. See how long I can go.
It's so tough. An ad
I do get them though. And I'm almost exclusively on my creator account.
Okay, here we go. It took me 5 or 6 before I got to an ad on Reels, but on my main feed, I didn't get a single one.
20.
Maybe it's
25. Still haven't gotten an ad.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a paid partnership. Do you consider a paid partnership? Not really, because it's coming from a creator.
35.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not seeing many. I saw one, but that was it. And now I'm
45.
Like 20. Yeah.
I got over 50 posts and didn't get a single ad.
Wow.
Well, I think weird. Eric and I were talking about this over the weekend. Was on Facebook. Like, I never see ads on Facebook, so I'm earning ad revenue on Facebook. I'm like, where the hell is this ad revenue coming from? Because I've literally never seen a video ad on Facebook.
Because it's supposed to be after 1 minute and 1 second, right? It's supposed to play a video. Yeah. I watched one of yours today, Zach, just because we were talking about it over the weekend. Still haven't seen an ad on your page.
Yeah.
It's a whole conspiracy.
Well, on that note, should we wrap up the main show?
Yeah. So, Clayton, quickly, for everybody who's not joining us over in the after show night, plug yourself. Tell people where they can find you.
Yes.
Did Clayton freeze?
Uh-oh. I think
it looks like he was thinking. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
There
we got you now.
You're back. You're back.
I lost you.
It looks
too,
like
but
you're
I can hear
thinking.
you.
You're like,
no, I don't think I'll plug.
yeah.
Yeah, my handle's just at the Weekend Builder everywhere. So
nice.
You can find me. I am a little bit different. I started as like a woodworking, but I just love building, and I'm too ADHD to do woodworking all day. And so I like just home renovation, because one day I can do tiling, the next day I can do drywall, the next I can do electrical, plumbing, and framing, and just kind of like do whatever. And then carpentry, and then woodworking. So I'm kind of all over the place. But
and then you get paid to make your house look nicer.
It is a perk. And I all my friends, dude, the amount, do you guys ever get well, I guess you guys are more woodworking. I put a lot of my friends in the doghouse because their wives are like, well, Clayton did it. And it's just like, well, I get paid to do it. You know what I mean? Like how he just, built out the laundry room, and it's like, okay, and they're always like pissed at me. They're like, I slept on the couch because of you.
Yeah, but it's like, but what you don't realize, that's a $10,000 renovation with all the tiling and the flooring and the appliances and like running new like water lines and electrical and everything.
Right. Yeah, I spent, oh my gosh, spending money. Yeah, like I have learned that the amount of money you spend has zero correlation to how well it does. It doesn't matter how big the project is. It just matters how good the video is. Like I finished my basement. It cost me like $41,000 to do that. And that was me doing every last bit of it. The only thing I hired out was the drywall, because I was just like, screw this. I'm not going to hang a 900 square foot apartment. And I was doubling up sheetrock. So for soundproof.
Yeah.
But and then I posted another video on YouTube, and it was like, it took me start to finish like 2 or 3 hours to do the video and edit it and post it. It was like how to hide your TV wires, and it has like 1 or 2 million views. And I'm just like, I give up.
Right. Or like one of those times where you just post a video of you scraping glue off something, and you're like 9 million views. You're like, what has this world gotten to?
Yeah. But those, I will say though, like those don't get okay, really quick. One last thing to say about short form content is the video itself determines how much you grow. Like if you just post a video like that without your face in it, without any of you, like a value proposition of why they should follow you, like you can have a video go viral and you'll get like 60 followers.
Oh yeah.
But if you make it like a story and they start to like you, like if like different videos convert so much differently. When I made my intro video at the beginning of this year, that video went viral and it got me over 100,000 followers off of that one video.
Is that like what's pinned at the top of your profile?
It is. It's the first one, because it's like, here's who I am. This is what I do. I'm a dad, a DIYer. It's just kind of like about me, so that anyone that like goes to my page can see that. Which I also think that you should do. If like everyone should have an about me pinned in the top left of their page, just that way people can see you. And
I mean, on YouTube you have like a channel, and a lot of people have channel intros. It's kind of the same idea.
Yep, it is. Except it doesn't start auto playing, which drives me nuts. I hate auto playing. You ever been to a website, you open it, and then like your speakers blast an ad or something?
Horrible user experience. Yeah.
If I ever become president, that's what I'm going to be running
First law.
Abolishing auto play videos. Or especially if you're looking at a recipe, don't get me started on that, man.
I started using TikTok as my search engine for all recipes, because you don't get ads, and then you do it in like 60 seconds or less.
Ooh, that's ultra millennial.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I search for on TikTok is recipes. Other than that, it's just scrolling through golf videos.
Well, if you're looking for something good to search, you should go to Google and search patreon.com/offthecut-podcast, so you could... You're like, that's smooth.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's very funny.
So you can join into the after show, where we've got a bunch of questions for you, Clayton. We've got a bunch of our listeners wrote in the questions they want you to answer, and we'll see what you got to say.
Yeah.
So, Clayton, huge thanks for joining us on the show tonight, man. We always appreciate chatting with you. And everybody, go check him out, The Weekend Builder. And
do it.
Yeah, do it. Do it right now. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
See you, everybody.
See you guys.